My best friend's sister confessed her love for me at a family barbecue, then made false SA allegations when I got a restraining order against her stalking. I, 30 male, need advice about something that happened with my best friend Mark's, 32 male, sister Lisa, 35 female, during our annual family barbecue last weekend. This is going to be long because there's a lot of background needed to understand the situation. I met Mark during our freshman year of college 12 years ago. We were randomly assigned as roommates and clicked instantly. I come from a small town across the country and couldn't afford to go home much, so Mark started inviting me to his family events. His parents, Patricia, 58 female, and James, 60 male, basically adopted me. They insisted I spend holidays with them, included me in family trips, and were there for every major moment of my life. Patricia even helped me find my first apartment after graduation. They've treated me like another son for over a decade now. Lisa has been married to Tom, 37 male, for 8 years. They started dating right around when Mark and I graduated college. I remember their wedding clearly because Mark was the best man and I helped him write his speech. They have 2 amazing kids, Emma, 6 female, and Jake, 4 male. The kids have called me Uncle Rob since they could talk. Tom and I actually get along great because I'm a structural engineer and he works in construction management, so we often collaborate on projects and talk shop at family gatherings. Lisa is a kindergarten teacher at the same school Emma attends, and until now, I never noticed anything unusual in our interactions. Mark met his wife Sarah, 31 female, through me. She worked at my firm when I first started. They've been married for 4 years now and are expecting their first child. Sarah and Lisa became close friends after the wedding, which made family gatherings even more enjoyable. We're all one big happy family. At least we were until last weekend. The annual summer barbecue at Mark's parents' place is a huge tradition. Everyone comes, extended family, old friends, neighbors. This year there were probably 30 people there. I was helping Mark with the grill like I always do when Lisa asked if I could help her get some drinks from the basement. This wasn't unusual, I often help out with stuff like this at family events. I didn't think twice about following her down. The moment we got to the basement, everything changed. Lisa turned around, grabbed my hands, and started crying. I was completely confused until she started talking about how she'd been in love with me for the past 2 years. She said she couldn't stop thinking about me, that she imagined leaving Tom to be with me, that she knew I felt the same way because of how kind I always was to her. I was absolutely shocked and immediately pulled my hands away. I told her this was completely inappropriate and reminded her about Tom and the kids upstairs. She got angry and accused me of leading her on by being nice to her at family gatherings and caring about her kids. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I always treated her exactly like family because that's what she was to me, my best friend's sister, my nephew and niece's mother, and Tom's wife. Lisa started listing all these normal interactions as proof of our supposed connection, like when I helped her change a flat tire last winter, or when I watched the kids while she had a dentist appointment, or how I always ask about her classroom stories at dinner. These were all completely normal things I'd do for anyone in the family. When I told her this, she got even more upset and tried to kiss me. I had to physically hold her back and tell her to stop. She kept saying we were meant to be together and that she knew I was just scared to admit my feelings. I immediately went upstairs and pulled Mark aside to tell him what happened. He was as shocked as I was and kept saying this couldn't be right, that his sister would never do this. While we were talking in the kitchen, Lisa came up acting completely normal. She was laughing with Tom, playing with the kids, helping Patricia serve dessert, like nothing had happened. Mark confronted her later that night after everyone left, and she denied everything, saying I misunderstood her being friendly and emotional about work stress. This has put Mark in an impossible position between his sister and his best friend. Sarah believes me because she said she always thought Lisa acted weird around me. Apparently Lisa asked a lot of questions about my dating life and got upset when I briefly dated someone last year. But Sarah never expected anything like this. Tom texted me yesterday asking why Lisa was crying after the barbecue. Mark covered for her and said she was upset about some difficult parents at school. I haven't slept properly since this happened. I keep replaying every interaction with Lisa, wondering if I somehow encouraged this without realizing it. But I know I treated her exactly the same way I treat Sarah or Mark's female cousins or any other family member. I've never given her any reason to think I had romantic feelings. Mark suggested we keep this between us for now and give Lisa time to come to her senses. He thinks telling Tom would destroy their family and traumatize the kids. But I'm terrified about seeing Lisa at future family gatherings. I don't want to lose my relationship with Mark's family, they're the only real family I have nearby. But I also feel sick about keeping this from Tom. Should I tell Tom everything? Should I distance myself from the family I consider my own? How do I handle future family events? Please help me figure out what to do. Edit, thank you for all the responses. I see now that Tom needs to know the truth. I'm meeting with Mark tonight to figure out how to tell him. Update 1. I need to share what's been happening because things have spiraled completely out of control. After my last post, Mark and I made plans to tell Tom everything. We were going to invite him over for drinks after work and explain the situation together. But before we could do that, Lisa started escalating her behavior in ways I never expected. Last Monday, she showed up at my workplace during lunch. I work in a large engineering firm downtown, and she somehow found out which floor my office was on. She walked in carrying takeout from my favorite restaurant, which she only knew about from family dinners, and asked my coworkers where to find me. When I saw her, she acted like this was completely normal, saying she wanted to apologize and talk things through. I immediately told her this was inappropriate and asked her to leave. She started crying in the middle of the office, making a scene about how I was being cruel to family. My coworkers were uncomfortable and confused. I had to take her to the lobby to avoid more drama. She left eventually, but not before trying to hug me and whispering that she would prove her love to me. The next day, she sent flowers to my office with a card about our deep connection. The day after that, it was an expensive watch. I returned everything and blocked her number after she started sending messages about leaving Tom. She wrote about how unhappy she was in her marriage and how she knew we were meant to be together. She said she was willing to give up everything for me. That's when she started creating fake social media accounts. First it was just 1 or 2 friend requests that I denied. Then suddenly there were dozens of messages from different accounts, all clearly her. She would write long paragraphs about our supposed destiny together, then switch to angry rants when I didn't respond. She even made fake accounts pretending to be mutual friends trying to convince me to talk to her. The really messed up part is that Tom has no idea. He thinks Lisa is just being extra nice to family lately. He called me last week to thank me for being so supportive while Lisa deals with work stress. Apparently she told him she was struggling with difficult parents at school and I was helping her process everything. She even told him she was bringing me lunch to thank me for being such a good listener. I felt sick hearing this but didn't know what to say. Mark tried confronting her again. He told her she needed to stop before she destroyed her marriage and hurt her kids. She accused him of being jealous and trying to ruin her chance at true happiness. She said he never supported her and was always trying to control her life. Mark was devastated. They used to be so close and now she's treating him like an enemy. Things got even scarier when I started finding notes in my mailbox. I moved to a new apartment 6 months ago and only shared my address with close friends and family. The notes started sweet but got increasingly intense. Some were pages long, describing our future together. Others were angry, blaming me for making her suffer by rejecting her love. She wrote about watching me come and go, describing what time I left for work and when I got home. I immediately installed security cameras and showed the footage to Mark. While reviewing it, we saw Lisa driving by my place multiple times throughout the day. Sarah then told us something disturbing. She caught Lisa going through my old Facebook photos, making lists of every woman I've ever interacted with. She had a notebook full of names, dates, and comments about these women. She'd also saved and printed photos of me from family events, carefully cropping out everyone else. Mark finally told his parents everything. They were shocked and devastated. Patricia keeps crying and saying she doesn't understand what happened to her daughter. James is angry but doesn't know who to be angry at. They keep saying Lisa was never like this before, that she was always the stable, responsible one. Mark reminded them about an incident in high school where she got intensely attached to a teacher, but they said that was different because she was just a teenager then. I'm documenting everything and seriously considering a restraining order. Mark agrees it might be necessary but is heartbroken about what this will do to his sister and the family. I still haven't told Tom because everyone keeps saying it will destroy him and the kids. But every day I don't tell him, I feel worse. Lisa's behavior is getting more unpredictable and I'm genuinely starting to worry about what she might do next. Update 2. Everything has completely fallen apart in the worst possible way. After my last update, I went ahead with the restraining order because Lisa's behavior was getting more erratic. I talked to a lawyer who said I had more than enough evidence. When Lisa got served with the papers at her school, she completely lost it. But what happened next was worse than anything I could have imagined. That same evening, she went home and told Tom that I had sexually assaulted her in the basement during the barbecue. She claimed she had been too scared to say anything earlier because I had threatened to turn everyone against her if she spoke up. She told him I had been harassing her at work and sending her threatening messages from fake accounts, basically taking everything she had done to me and reversing it. Tom believed her instantly. He showed up at my workplace the next morning in a rage. He started screaming about how I had betrayed his family and taken advantage of his wife. My coworkers had to call security to remove him. He then started telling everyone in their social circle that I was a predator who had manipulated and assaulted his wife. He even called my firm's HR department to report me. The fallout was immediate. Several of Mark's cousins blocked me on social media. 2 of his uncles called to tell me I was no longer welcome at family events. Patricia and James were completely torn. They wanted to believe their daughter but couldn't understand why my story hadn't changed while Lisa's had. Lisa even called my parents across the country to tell them what a monster their son was. Mark was the only one who stood by me completely. He finally revealed something the family had kept secret for years. When Lisa was in college, she had accused a classmate of assault after he rejected her advances. She had become obsessed with him, similar to how she was with me now. The guy had proof of her harassment, emails, witnesses, everything. The family had covered it up to protect Lisa, paying the guy to stay quiet and transfer schools. The truth started coming out when Mark showed Tom the security footage from my workplace. It clearly showed Lisa coming to my office multiple times, me asking her to leave, and her making scenes. He also showed Tom all the fake social media accounts we had documented, proving they belonged to Lisa. Tom started digging through Lisa's things and found her diary. It was full of detailed fantasies about our supposed life together. She had even picked out names for the children she imagined us having together. More disturbing details emerged as other family members started speaking up. Lisa's college roommate reached out to say Lisa had been obsessed with Mark's roommate before meeting Tom. She would follow him around campus and tell everyone they were secretly dating. Mark's cousin remembered how Lisa had stalked her prom date for months after he took someone else to homecoming. Each story showed a pattern the family had ignored or dismissed as harmless crushing. The final straw was when Tom found recent searches on Lisa's computer about divorcing him and getting full custody of the kids. She had been planning to accuse him of abuse to ensure I would help raise her children. When Tom confronted her with everything, she broke down and admitted to making up the assault allegations but insisted that I had led her on and that we had a special connection. Tom moved out that night with the kids. He's staying with his brother while trying to figure out what to do. He came to see me yesterday to apologize for believing Lisa's accusations. He broke down crying, saying he felt like he never really knew his wife. I felt terrible for him. In the span of a few days, his entire world fell apart. Mark and Sarah are helping Tom with lawyers and custody arrangements. Lisa has been calling everyone constantly, switching between apologizing and making more accusations. She showed up at Tom's brother's house late one night, demanding to see her children. They had to call the police to make her leave. The restraining order was granted yesterday. Lisa can't come within 500 feet of me or my workplace. Mark's parents finally accepted the truth about their daughter and are devastated. They keep apologizing for not seeing the pattern sooner and letting things get this far. James said he should have gotten Lisa help years ago when the first incident happened in college. I never wanted any of this to happen. I keep thinking about Emma and Jake, and how this will affect them. Tom asked me to stay away for now because Lisa has been telling the kids that I hurt their mom. It breaks my heart because those kids are family to me, but I understand he needs to protect them. Update 3. A lot has happened since my last post, and I think it's time to close this chapter of my life. Tom filed for divorce after Lisa had a complete breakdown at the kids' school. She showed up during lunch break, demanding to see Emma and Jake. When the school staff refused because she wasn't on the approved pickup list anymore, she started screaming about how everyone was conspiring to keep her children from her. She went on a rant in front of parents and teachers about how I had ruined her life and turned her family against her. She accused Tom of poisoning the kids against her and said Mark was helping him hide them. The school had to go into lockdown and call the police. Emma saw the whole thing and was terrified. She still has nightmares about it. The judge granted Tom temporary full custody after that incident. The kids are living with him in a new apartment across town. Emma's seeing a child counselor to help her process everything. Jake is too young to fully understand what's happening, but he keeps asking when they can go home. Tom's doing his best, but it's hard being a single dad while dealing with his own emotions about Lisa's betrayal. Lisa moved in with their aunt in the next state after Mark's parents told her she needed time away to get herself together. I heard she started seeing a counselor, but according to Mark, she spends most sessions talking about how I destroyed her perfect life by rejecting her love. She still maintains that we had a special connection and everyone else is blind to it. My relationship with Mark's family is complicated now. His parents try to include me in things, but it's awkward. Patricia keeps apologizing for not seeing the signs earlier. James can barely look at me. I think I remind him of how badly they failed as parents by ignoring Lisa's problems for so many years. Most of the extended family who initially believed Lisa's accusations have apologized, but things aren't the same. I took a job opportunity in a different city. It's a great career move, but honestly, I just needed to get away from all the drama. The distance has helped everyone. Mark visits every few weeks, and we're planning our annual camping trip next month, just us, like old times before everything got complicated. Sarah's been amazing through all this, making sure I don't blame myself for what happened. Tom sends me updates about the kids through Mark. Emma asked about Uncle Rob recently, which made me cry. But Tom thinks it's better if I keep my distance until they're older and can understand what happened. He started dating again, very casually. Mostly he's focused on giving the kids stability. Lisa's aunt told Mark that Lisa's been writing letters to me but knows she can't send them because of the restraining order. She still drives by my old apartment sometimes, not knowing I've moved. The aunt thinks Lisa is slowly accepting reality, but I'm not so sure. Mark forwarded me an email she sent him last week, still insisting that I'm her soulmate and one day everyone will understand. Sometimes I miss the family dinners and holiday celebrations with Mark's family. They were my family for so many years. But I realize now that keeping my distance is healthier for everyone, especially the kids. Maybe someday things will be less complicated, but for now, I'm focusing on building a new life in my new city. I want to thank everyone who offered advice and support throughout this nightmare. Special thanks to those who urged me to document everything and get a restraining order early on. You were right, it made a huge difference when Lisa started making false accusations. I'm going to stop updating now because dwelling on this isn't helping anyone move forward.